The satisfying death of hustle culture. I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it. Everywhere I go, everywhere I see my friends, all they talk about is fucking money. Now, even stuff we did for hobbies, for fun, online, everybody's trying to make money out of every fucking second in your life. Let's check this out.
Hustle culture is the idea that productivity, working long hours, and grinding at the expense of things like personal needs or a social life, all for the sake of money, is very important. It's promoted and sold to us regular folk by guys like this.
You mean everybody?
Gary V?
Do you know how many people tweet hustle and work 6 hours a day? Like, I know. I know.
Slaves worked all the hours.
You think people that go to work, they're like actively working, actively being productive for 8 hours or more? I'm not talking about physical labor. Those people actually do work for 6 to 8 to more hours. Software developers or whatever, they don't work for 8 hours straight. Sorry, they don't.
They were awake for their entire lives. I think like if they can do it, so can I.
If you're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini,
no, I know this guy.
Sit down and have like a serious discussion with yourself.
Yeah.
Garage just bought this
fake guru.
Here.
Now, of course, some of this seems really ridiculous, but it's not always that crazy. A lot of people in the hustle culture community are really good at selling you the dream of working hard and getting rich, but they don't.
And they aren't actually rich, or are they like hustling hard? They're just scamming you to make money.
All of this information for free. Usually it comes at a cost. And after years of these gurus selling lies, scams, or information,
I mean, I know he is legit.
Free, people are starting to wake up.
Every single man I know follows Alex Hormozi. I just can't. Like, I just hear way too much about business and marketing every single day of my life. I need parts of my life to not be involved with politics and business.
Realize that most of hustle culture is a scam. So how did society let these guys make millions off of selling a dream to the masses? Why is hustle culture so prominent in America?
That's ugly.
And what made Gen Z so anti-hustle culture? Well, to understand hustle culture's impact and its flaws, we have to understand why it's so big in the first place. According to BBC, the entrepreneurial boom in the 1990s and early 2000s laid the foundation for the hustle culture.
Yeah, 1990s and early 2000s, where they weren't, where you know, finances weren't as bad as they are now, and most industries, not some industries were, but a lot of new industries, especially in tech, weren't already like hugely dominated by these huge corporations. A lot of them already existed, but starting new was much easier. There was much less competition than now.
Narrative. They note the rise of venture capital financing helped build technology titans in Silicon Valley, companies including Google and Facebook, which rocketed to dominance. These high-profile successes, famous for their intense, all-consuming work cultures, cemented Northern California as a global hub for innovation and entrepreneurship. The very public tech and dot-com booms made your average Joe think that they could make it as an entrepreneur if they worked hard. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard somebody say that Steve Jobs started in his garage.
Hey, I'm 24. I've tried multiple businesses. I know, not that long, since I was 19. Some have worked more, and I've made some money out of it. But yeah, that doesn't mean you'll ever succeed. Okay, I'm gonna be working on whatever business to not be able, because I hate having a job. I don't want to have a job. I will have a job. I have a job. But I fucking hate working for somebody my whole life. I'd rather just work 12 hours a day for my fucking self than somebody else's. But it's not easy, okay? It's much harder in different ways.
Thanks to the internet and the rise of e-commerce, it is probably true that it is easier now than ever before to start your own business and be successful. So this inspired a lot of people to try and do so. The idea of working hard and being smart with your decisions has always been around. I mean, I just read a book called The Richest Man in Babylon with finance tips written from 1926. I've
heard about this book so many times.
And even back in the 80s, Wall Street had a mantra of greed is good.
I'm just lazy to read. If
money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy jack.
We are all like that, my guy. We are all like that. You know who's not like that? The only people who don't have the feeling that they need more of people, of family, of money to be happy. The Buddhist monks on top of the fucking, on top of Mount Everest. Okay, not on top, but on the Himalayas.
Rather fucking wannabe, big time, small time, shit talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure.
I get
for
it.
more than 5 minutes.
But hustling, working 3 jobs,
I
grinding,
totally get
thank
it.
God it's Monday, all that stuff is a little bit newer. Hustle culture ideology says that people are overworking not because they're economically driven to, but simply because this is the way go-getters get what they want. Growing up, I feel
It's also very easy when it comes to young men, okay? It's very easy, and I'm gonna use the word manipulate, even though it's not really manipulating. It might be, I don't know, but young men are drawn to extremes. Just work out, just do business, and fuck everything else. It's like, whoa, I'm masculine, I'm macho, look at what I'm doing. And then you hopefully as you get older you realize, okay, I actually need to see my parents, okay, that I actually need friends, and not just people that are just connections because of business and won't see me ever again if I'm not rich anymore. You need real people around you, okay, people who actually care about you. And you need a nice social life.
this mindset was always placed upon me by others, whether it be
What
family or
is this?
teachers, who were saying that to achieve you need to simply work harder. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like when I was in school, when they were teaching us about entrepreneurs, it was like the coolest thing. It was the best thing you could do.
Same.
And it was part of the American dream. With again,
Yep.
Steve Jobs always being the go-to prime example. UC Riverside
I'm tired
said,
of his
the picture
face.
of success looked like the stories of Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs, people of power and high status who threw away their social life and focused all of their attention on developing what are now multi-billion.
I don't want to be a multi-billionaire. I just want to be wealthy enough to never be able to worry about like owning a home or buying groceries, or if I want to eat fucking meat and steak every single day, 3 times a day, I should be able to, right? And yeah, of course it would be nice if I was very rich and to be able to travel the world. But I don't need to be a multi-billionaire for that, okay? I don't. I already travel a lot, like 2, 3 times every single year. And I'm not even a 100,000-millionaire, whatever you want to call that shit, okay?
Enterprises. With these stories came with them the belief that the average person could also achieve such success if they did the same. I even remember watching this show in class in 8th grade called The Men Who Built America, which was a series about like the Carnegies and the Rockefellers who were just the biggest entrepreneurs in the world. It seems like this idea is heavily ingrained in the American education system, and to be fair, it does make sense, especially for Americans. We've been hammered since we were kids with the idea of the American dream, the idea that everyone has the opportunity to achieve a better, prosperous life through hard work, determination, and initiative, regardless of where you start.
Yeah, I'm also, even though I'm not from the US, I've always loved the US. I grew up watching cartoons, movies, content creators. I follow US politics so fucking much more than I know more about European politics. I know a lot about European politics as well. No, I'm not an expert in any fucking political whatever. But I follow a lot of European politics. I follow a lot of US politics. A little bit of specifically British politics too, but at the end of the day, I'm in love. I was and I'm still am in love with the American idea, what it used to mean. Now the American dream is, yeah, even though I still love American culture and I feel more connected with it than I do with my own country. But still, that's not the reality anymore.
Ironically, the Wikipedia page for
It's
the American
sad.
Dream says that originally, the emphasis was on democracy, liberty, and equality, but more recently has been on achieving material wealth and upward mobility. I could be reaching here a little bit, but I don't think I am, and I think that the idea of grinding until you make it to the top is an idea or a value that's been ingrained in American culture. So obviously, this is nothing.
It's not just in American culture. It's in Japanese, South Korean, and so on. It's not
And it
just
seems to have
American.
really
It's in
taken
Europe
off
as
with
well.
Millennials especially. According to Highbrow magazine, there was a time when bragging about 80-hour work weeks, side hustles that bled into early morning grind set routines, and
I
LinkedIn
hate
posts
that.
celebrating unpaid overtime was
Fuck
a badge of
LinkedIn.
honor. Hustle culture, America's
LinkedIn is the cringiest, most corrupted, not corrupted, but like, you open LinkedIn, and then the next day you gotta get a fucking scan if you have a tumor growing in your fucking brain. Because it was that cancerous and cringy and painful to see. Those posts of fake people posting fake dumb shit. Fuck LinkedIn.
favorite brand of self-inflicted servitude, thrived on the illusion that success was a meritocracy of exhaustion, where working yourself to the bone was the golden ticket to prosperity.
So happy.
Millennials bought into it hard.
I worked my side hustles all weekend because the bills don't pay themselves and I honestly don't have a life. So these were all of my side hustles and how much I made doing each one.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Sleep was sin in my household.
Sleep was a
I saw my
sin?
dad asleep one time in my life.
Yo, I feel bad for your kids, man. I mean, wanting to hustle and grow, great. Sleep is a sin? What's not a sin? Can I have sex at least?
Hustle, folks. You either got this shit or you don't. I promise you. And I mean,
Bruh.
I got this shit. I promise you.
Obviously, this trend has crept into the younger generation as well, and it's become a
lot.
very big thing. And this isn't just an issue individuals who want to succeed as business owners face. A lot of people in the white-collar world face it too. A lady named Paige Hansen, who was interviewed about this, said, "I worked when my boss worked. No time was off limits. Everyone expects everyone to be available 24/7 because you have your cell phone and your laptop with you always. There are even studies that show that the 40-hour work week is more of a myth because people actually tend to work 47 hours a week on average. And that roughly 25% of salaried workers work 60 hours a week, likely not getting overtime since, you know, they're salaried. And the blue-collar world is obviously very difficult too. Don't worry, I'm not forgetting about you guys. And
I've made a video about blue-collar work, and a lot of young people are now switching to blue-collar work because there's more jobs. And a lot of them are just maybe paid more or the same as a lot of white-collar jobs these days. But it does destroy your body. It does. Have you seen actually, I've seen a lot of 50, 60-year-old construction workers. Those guys are physically fucking capable and strong, okay? But they've got a lot of pain. I mean, you're gonna have pain either way. Are you gonna be in a cubicle, depressed, and have a lot of back pain from sitting and maybe something else and be fat? Or are you gonna work some blue-collar job, still be depressed, because it's a shitty job, shitty weather. It might pay more or less, whatever, or the same, but you still have pain in different areas, your joints and stuff. But at least you're not fat.
The memes speak for themselves.
Well, my collar's blue and my neck is red.
Yeah.
So it's clear that everyone in every industry is encouraged to work hard and hustle. I mean, it feels like you have to get by nowadays.
Yeah. 900,000 isn't the average price of a home in the U.S. like 400 something thousand? Is this Investopedia's 2025 report found the American dream now costs over $5 million per household over the course of a lifetime. See, I don't need to be a multi-billionaire. Just give me 10 million. If I was in the U.S., I'm saying, right? Where I live, 10 million, I'm gonna raise 4 generations. Also, 40,000 on wedding, 40,000 on pets. Fuck weddings. I was gonna say fuck, but I love pets. But I'm not spending that much money on pets. What the hell?
There are various problems that come with hustle culture, but let me be clear in first saying that I don't think it's all bad. I think that the idea of working hard and making smarter choices with your career or your finances and being successful are all good values, and I think it promotes a healthy lifestyle and goals. But what I don't like about hustle culture is when people take the idea of working hard and succeeding and then flip it into you need to work 24/7, you're lazy and pathetic if you don't, money is all that
it's all about the money.
Family and friends if they don't understand, and by the way, it's actually really easy to get rich. Just buy my $100 course. Like we've seen.
I mean, you've got the money for this car, for this Porsche, and for the BMW fucking 1000 RR motorcycle. You don't have enough money to have your own garage. The money you spend for these, buy a home. God damn.
This video, the hustle culture gurus will
be smart with your finances,
promises and vague knowledge bombs just so you buy their course, books, or other products. Even with just watching their content regularly, you're helping them to make money. And the worst part about hustle culture is that it's permeated almost every single industry: finance, manual labor, e-commerce, media, and many more. So hypothetically,
like, even there's like so many channels right now just making videos on how to bring your business to YouTube and how to get clients off of YouTube, which is fine. I get it, but YouTube isn't what it was about entertaining and fun and posting videos just for the fun of it. People are now just switching to all of this just for business. I'm going out with friends Everybody's just talking about business. My brain is exploding. Everybody's just talking about money. I get it. I like that I have friends that are some very successful, and some of them aren't really that successful and just starting out. Again, I'm in my mid-20s. A lot of them are in their mid or early or late 20s, you know, starting out or just working on them. But I stopped going out with certain friends just because all they think about, they're just obsessed with materialism. And now my friend groups are like very divided between, we talk about culture and drama and dating, we talk about fitness and health, we talk about business and money and jobs, which is basically what my channel is about. All three combined. Yeah.
If you want to succeed and you're looking into an industry that you're interested in, it's tough to avoid the pitfalls of falling for their empty promises. And this is by far the most toxic symptom of hustle culture. It's taking a good core value and stretching it to the extreme at the cost of your physical health, your mental health, your relationships, and everything else. It encourages unrealistic goals and expectations. According to Aiden Harper, who created the 4-Day Workweek campaign in Europe, he said that hustle culture is toxic, saying it creates the assumption that the only value we have as human beings is our productivity capability, our ability to work, rather than our humanity. I saw
Then what's the point of being alive? Just to grow the economy and produce more? Just to produce more goods and services? That's it? That's all we're good for as humans? You don't deserve to enjoy your life? Oh, but you enjoy working 24/7. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. That's like saying you enjoy having sex 20 hours a day. No, you fucking don't. No.
That summed up the evolution, or I guess the de-evolution of hustle culture fairly well. Someone said, the sad thing is, hustle culture was a positive thing. It originally meant hustle so that you can work your dream job or career. Be comfortable financially, not necessarily rich. Be kind to yourself, treat your body right, etc. Now hustle culture
it was about being responsible.
Has become this weird toxic mess. The original poster
now it's about
saying, we went from
ruling
work hard,
the
play
world
hard, to an endless cycle of work even harder, maybe play later, but not really. Another toxic symptom of hustle culture is the gig economy, which has utilized the hype of hustle culture and the American dream to trick people into working for less. The gig economy consists of people who are often working a regular job too, doing things on the side like DoorDash, Uber, and things along those lines. However, one of the major flaws with things like this is that these people on average are often paid much less than your average wage worker. And
these people do this because they can't. Most people do that because they can't survive, not because they are hustling and they can't wait to make this extra money and to put it in their business. No, they can't wait to make that little bit of extra money so they can pay the bills. Yeah.
Well, it's sold as a dream of working on your own time. Usually in the long run, you're better off actually starting your own thing rather than working for one of these companies. I won't go too in depth on this, and honestly, I think the gig economy could be an entire video in and of itself, but it's very clear that companies and rich people are taking advantage of hustle culture. Like the New York Times said, hustle culture's virtues of relentless work remind me of nothing so much as Soviet-era propaganda, which promoted impossible seeming feats of worker productivity to motivate the labor force. Today's messages glorify personal profit.
And there was child labor.
Even if bosses and investors, not workers, are the ones capturing most of the gains. But it's not all bad. I think people at the very least are waking up to and turning against hustle culture. Gen Z in particular, the younger generation,
I can see it, but
are so against hustle.
I started this video being a little bit of a skeptic because I can see some people being against this, but most people, like most young men, they're not. They are just fully on the hustle culture trend. All they think about is that. And no, it's not because a lot of them can't survive because they don't have a lot of money. No, it's just to have more. And I'm telling them, hey, if you want to be happy, you gotta detach. The less shit you want, the less you feel that you need more, if that makes sense, the happier you will be. Sadly, I'm working on that. I am a little bit better than most people, not as materialistic. I used to be the extreme like this. But the more you think you need to be happy, the less happy you'll be. Because you'll always want more. More partners to have sex with, a more expensive car, multiple cars, more homes, bigger home, whatever. Hence why I'm jealous of these Buddhist, Christian, whatever monks living in monasteries up in mountains. They barely have any clothes. They just have that one robe or whatever you call it. They just pray and that's it. And I don't care if it's because of religion or whatever else, what your motivation is, but that's an extreme. But we can learn something from those people. Just be thankful and happy for being alive, for being able to walk, for being able to eat today. Yeah.
Culture for a few reasons. First of
Try
all,
and be happy because of that.
With these hustle
Still work
influencers
on
for
yourself,
so
of
long,
course.
and
You're a
the funnel
human.
Will always lead you to a $50 course. I think people realize that truly
My
wealthy
God,
people
this guy.
don't need to make content about it or sell you a course. Why would they give away free game if they were so successful? In most cases, we realize that these people weren't genuinely concerned for us doing well, but instead wanted to profit from us. Well, I mean, not everyone realizes this. Some people are still pretty desperate or gullible, but with how big people like Gary Vee, Ty Lopez, and others got, and how big of memes they became, it became more and more apparent that this was all some motivational mumbo jumbo that they would use to get us pumped up enough to give them more of our time, attention, and ultimately our money. That's why people like Gary Vee are memed so hard online.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. You know, garage sales, garage snails. Everybody's too fucking
This
slow
guy,
these
man,
days.
he's a legend.
You know, I'm gonna go up there.
I've laughed so much watching him.
Not physically, but financially, okay? I'm about gratitude, longitude, and latitude. How's it going, Gary? Brought the video guy this time. Feels like an NBA Finals. About to rip his fucking face off. More letting that
I've also seen an interview with Trevor Wallace, and I don't know who it was, but he is one of those kinds of guys. He just hustles, he just works, he just does comedy, the videos, and all of this. His mental health, as from that one interview I saw, yeah, he needs to work on that shit.
Go for 500. I'll do 4.
Just because of overworking.
I appreciate the offer for 400, but we just can't. No, $4. Oh, $4. Are you out of your fucking mind? I might be. Oh, you are out of your mind. That's a knife. Okay, cool. But you know, I'm not out of a good bargain.
I mean, the top comment on this video is, what's funny is the fact that this isn't even an exaggeration on how Gary is like. But not only are people for the most part aware of these hustle influencers, they're becoming more and more against the culture itself. People are starting to prioritize their personal lives over their careers. And according to a study, 20% of people would take pay cuts if they could have a better work-life balance. Along with Gen Z entering the workforce, the COVID-19 pandemic forced nearly the entire world to stop what they were doing. It
Forgot
gave people
about
the
that.
space to consider what they wanted out of work and life. Megan Carnegie of BBC News says that economic uncertainty and greater awareness of inequality can make both the ideas and language of the rise and grind mentality feel outdated and out of touch. In fact, every single article I've read about the hustle culture's decline always points to the pandemic. Overnight, millions of workers, many of them loyal employees who had done everything right, were laid off via impersonal Zoom calls.
It makes sense. A lot of people, including me, I finished high school in 2020, right when the pandemic fucking hit. College was basically non-existent. Yeah, I did go to college, but didn't attend any classes. Nothing fucking happened. Everything was online. A lot of people got hired and a lot of people got fired in the pandemic, specifically in tech. A lot of people got hired, right? After the 2020, 2021, and so on, and then immediately after the economy crashed, inflation just skyrocketed, everybody started firing, and now everybody's scared because of AI. And a lot of young people, including me, grew up with a few years of COVID. You think we're gonna be so up and happy and daisy to work and not have anything, not own anything? The U.S. is spending $2 billion a day on the Iran war. Whether you support it or not, I don't give a fuck. It's just an interesting fact. Spend some money to help the people, man. Come on.
Left to navigate an economy that suddenly had no use for them. People, whether it be corporate hustlers or entrepreneurial hustlers, are waking up to the bigger problem that Megan mentioned: economic uncertainty and greater awareness of inequality.
Instead of calling for regulations, workers' rights, or less work hours, the opposite path is to adapt and rationalize. Why complain about systems supposedly out of your control when you can work 80-hour weeks and build yourself up to be Jeff Bezos? Those union workers are so entitled, they're lucky to even have jobs. You don't have to be a communist to call out the end game of capitalism. However, in the United States, you will be ostracized and labeled as such. Hard work pays off is a popular quote used amongst Americans, and is further
not always. You need luck, especially these days.
Thank God for their blessings. The high rankers of capitalism thank the system for allowing them to obtain a mass amount of assets.
And why would the high rankers of capitalism allow other people? I'm not saying capitalism is the best or worse. I don't think there's one. I think none of the fucking isms are perfect. I don't think there are. But in this case, capitalism, right? what do you think the richest people in a capitalistic society would allow any competitor to fucking, pass them by? Of course they're going to try and destroy the competitor or buy them. Obviously. And then a lot of young people that were born recently and in this century, like me, yeah, we don't really have that big of a chance to become on this huge high-level fucking multi-billionaire. Maybe if we got very, very lucky. Not that these people weren't lucky, but they had way less competition in their industries, and no one was threatening to destroy them. They had competition on their own level.
When working class people take these billionaires at face value, we decide to fight and toil to be among the 1%, rather than realizing that we hold all of the economic leverage.
Regardless of your politics, it is an objective fact that wealth inequality and a poor economy are making the American dream seem more and more out of reach than ever before.
Same in
According
Europe.
to the Federal Reserve, the top 1% of households owned 31.7% of all of U.S. wealth in the third quarter of 2025, the highest share on record since the Federal Reserve began tracking household wealth in 1989. Collectively, the wealthiest 1% held about $55 trillion in assets, roughly equal to the wealth held by the bottom 90% of Americans combined. It's harder than ever before to reach that level with the top 1%.
Just seeing all of this just makes me depressed and makes me want to kill myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Hoarding so much money. And I think the overwhelming amount of despair and hopelessness that things like this are causing has made people super turned off by hustle culture.
I would say that if I had to put a fine point on it, I think that the default position for most young people in America is distracted hopelessness. It's because even the people in our age range, let's say from 15 to 30, even the people who didn't pay much attention in high school or aren't paying much attention in high school, they don't need...
They told me to study so fucking much for what? For no jobs to exist and for AI to destroy all jobs and for inflation to destroy all prices for everything and not be able to own a home even if I became a fucking a doctor? Would it
be super educated to see the reality that is in front of them and that awaits them?
So does this mean everyone should just be hopeless and give up? Well, I don't think so. And keep in mind, I'm trying to be optimistic here, so take this all.
I'm not giving up, but I'm hopeless.
A grain of salt. But I do think there are some positive takeaways from hustle culture. For example, I think working hard, so long as you are doing things with balance, moderation, and wisdom, is good. I've been very passionate about YouTube since I was a kid, so while I was working almost full-time and going to college full-time, I decided to commit at least just a couple hours a day after work to studying YouTube and making videos. Every day I got smarter, better, and worked hard until eventually it worked out. It took years, but I got there. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a very hard worker. I'm pretty lazy, but I am a firm believer in working smarter, not harder, which is the antithesis of hustle culture, but I will stand on that till I die. And I also think this mindset can apply to anything, whether it be your fitness, your financial goals, your dream jobs, or just a hobby of yours. Find what you're passionate about or something you enjoy enough to do for work and set small, attainable goals. By the way, this is going to be every course ever, just summed up in a very simple way. But once you have your goals, build systems to achieve those goals and incrementally get better over time.
I'm going to link this guy's video in the description. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, but I totally agree with what he said at the end. Sadly, I started this YouTube channel when I was 23. I didn't start it that early because I was very insecure, and I still am, about a lot of shit, especially the way I sounded, with the fact that I have a horrible accent. But hustle culture, I'm not gonna lie, I'm seeing a lot of people destroying their youth, their early mid-20s and so on. I mean, even at 32, you're young enough to do a lot of shit. But they're destroying their lives because of this. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be studying and working hard. They should, but not 24/7. And sadly, I've lost some friends because of that. I used to be like that. No, I didn't lose friends because of me being like that. I came to my senses very fast. But still, plus my dad is a business owner, and he told me, just don't do that 24/7, okay? Even me, a 50-year-old business owner, even I have friends that I've been friends with for like decades. Some of them are businessmen, some aren't. You need people, you need a social life, okay? What's a lot of money without loving people you can share it with? Basically, useless. Have a nice day.